court is now reconvened. Mr. Bancroft, do you have any more witnesses you would like to have called?
Yes, Your Honor. I have one more witness. I would like to call Zachary Colton to the stand.
Zachary Colton to the stand, please.
Your Honor, I find this highly unusual. I would like to request a meeting of counsels in your chambers.
That is not common procedure, Mr. Colton. May I ask the purpose of such a meeting?
Of course. I feel that Mr. Bancroft is up to his well-known stalling tactics, and I find it absurd that I should be called as a witness for the defense.
Mr. Bancroft, do you have any light to shed on this matter?
Yes, Your Honor. I promise you that I will show cause for this unusual move. And if I may point out, it is not merely a stalling tactic, as Mr. Colton believes.
All right. In the interest of fairness, I will agree to this meeting in my chambers that Mr. Colton has asked for. We will proceed from there.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll see you both in my chambers in 10 minutes. This court is recessed for 30 minutes.
He really looks so much better, I can't believe it. I don't think I've seen him looking that well in a long time.
I'm glad to hear you say that.
Thank you for taking me to the hospital.
I'm not so sure it was a great idea.
Oh, of course it was. It was a wonderful idea.
Yeah?
What's the matter? What's bothering you?
Seeing you with Mac bothers me.
Seeing me with Mac?
Yes, it bothers me.
Well, I don't understand why.
I know why, and that's why it gets to me.
Wait, the only reason I went over to see Mac was because of Jamie.
Right, it's something, isn't it?
Well, wait a minute. You're not being fair.
You're right. It's just that you claim to love me, and you end up running and seeing Mac every time there's a problem.
That's not true. I only did that one time. Mitch, I left Mac because I love you. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
I don't know. I just sometimes wonder if you think you made a mistake.
And now, the continuing story of Another World.
Larry, Brian didn't tell me he was going to call Zachary to the stand. I think this is going to do a lot more harm than good.
I think Brian knows what he's doing.
Larry, you know how slippery Colton is. Who knows what he's doing in there in the judge's chambers?
Baby, he's probably in there just arguing that he can't testify. I'm sure Brian can build a case that can call Colton as a witness.
Larry.
Yeah, baby.
Is this going to be over soon? I really don't think I can take much more.
Now, don't worry about it. Brian seems to think we're near the end of the trial right now.
And then what? You know, things don't look very good for me.
Well, then quit looking at him that way.
Well, how else am I supposed to look at him? Listen, I have heard all the testimony. I know what that jury must be thinking now.
Would you give Brian some credit? I mean, he obviously has something in mind that's going to turn this whole case around.
Larry, please, don't patronize me. I know what's going on. I'm convinced it's all over for me.
Well, baby, you're just making trouble for yourself. Just trust me and trust Brian. Whatever's going on in that judge's chambers is important. And it's going to turn this case your way.
A mistake?
Yes, I wonder if you have second thoughts about leaving Mac.
Mitch, I left Mac because I love you. Look, why don't we do something as a family today, okay?
I don't have the time today. You don't have the time either.
Well, we'll make some time. I think it's very important for us.
I've got to go take care of business. I've got to go see Philip Lyons, and I've got to go by the connection.
I'm sure that Philip would understand.
What about the connection?
I really wish that you didn't go back to work at the connection.
Yes, well, I know. Well, we happen to need the cash.
Yeah, I know that. But we never see each other anymore, and I don't know, we just need to be together as a family. I mean, that's really important to both of us right now.
I've got to do that until we get on our feet financially.
Okay, well, how much longer do we have to wait?
I don't know. We can sell our share of the building. They've made an offer. They made a very generous offer.
I know, but we just moved in here. I mean, now we got to pack up and leave again?
No, we don't have to leave. We can lease the gallery and the apartment back from them.
Well, why do they want it then if they're not going to use it?
An investment. It's a good investment for them.
Okay, maybe we should do that then. I mean, it would give us some money, get us back on our feet, and maybe it would help get us Amanda. I just want us to be a family again.
I know.
What do you think you're doing, Bancroft?
Only what we're all supposedly doing here, trying to get at the truth of this case.
And you think putting me on the witness stand is going to help your case? I think you're out of your mind.
Gentlemen, please sit down. All right, Mr. Colton, what's the story, huh?
Yes, Your Honor, I would like to ask Mr. Bancroft his purpose in calling me as a defense witness.
Well, I believe you may be able to provide information that could be a critical factor in this case.
Can you be a little more specific, Mr. Bancroft?
Certainly, Your Honor. Mr. Colton, in his role as district attorney, has surely investigated Jordan Scott's activities.
But we have been all over Jordan Scott's activities throughout this trial.
But we haven't heard from you firsthand of your activities.
Well, I don't see how my assessments can possibly affect your client's guilt.
Your Honor, I am convinced that the evidence that Mr. Colton can produce will have a direct bearing on this case.
I'm sorry. I think Mr. Bancroft is simply trying to forestall the inevitable.
Oh, Your Honor, please believe me. I have no intention of delaying anything. I simply want Mr. Colton to provide whatever information he can on the activities of this so-called company in Bay City. And I feel that in his position as district attorney, he, better than anyone else, will be able to answer the critical questions that we feel need to be answered in order to get at the truth of this matter.
Mr. Colton, I don't see how you can object to this.
Yes, but, Your Honor, to put the prosecuting attorney on the stand in the middle of a
I
trial...
admit it's unusual, but certainly not without precedent. I mean, that's why you have an assistant district attorney who can cross-examine if you wish.
So, may we proceed with our case?
Yes, Mr. Bancroft. I will permit you to question Mr. Colton.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But I caution you to limit your question to those areas directly related to the case at hand.
Yes, Your Honor. That I will.
And is that all he wants to do with his life?
No, it's not. He wants to play professional hockey, and he'll do it.
Hockey. Somehow, a hockey player is not exactly what I'd had in mind as a husband for my daughter.
Yeah, but it's what I want. Now, of course, that doesn't matter to you what I want, does it?
Yes, it does matter what you want. I do want you to be happy.
And I will be as soon as I marry Leigh. He loves me. And I love him, too.
Well. So when is this joyous occasion going to take place?
We're thinking about a June wedding.
Next June?
I found a dress. You'd really like it if you saw it. It's really beautiful. I mean, Ma, we would have such a beautiful wedding.
Honey, If you're not going to be married until next June, don't you? Well, don't you think you're rushing things just a bit?
No, not at all, because there's a lot of things we got to plan and do.
Come in. Dad! Oh, what a surprise. Oh. There's nothing wrong, is there?
No, not at all. If you're busy.
Oh, no, not at all. Please, sit down. Okay. Now, why the surprise visit?
Well, I just thought it was time that we had a talk about Sally.
What about Sally?
I just heard from Liz that Sally is making wedding plans.
Yes, she is. I suppose I should have told you when I found out, but I was really just too upset.
Well, getting upset won't solve anything.
Dad, how am I supposed to react? Sally's my daughter, and she didn't even consult me about this. She just went right ahead and made plans to get married.
Yeah, but I'm sure she gave it a lot of thought, dear.
Oh? Just like she gave a lot of thought to telling me about her plans? Do you know how I found out about this? From Linda, here at the hospital.
Well, now, Alice, getting angry is not going to solve anything. You've got to stop being so overprotective to Sally and overreacting to everything she says or does.
Oh, Dad. She's my family. My life, my happiness is totally dependent upon hers.
Honey, that's another mistake you're making. You know, sometimes I think you've never gotten over Steve, and now you're making your whole world around Sally. Now, that's not a healthy attitude.
Well, I can't help but feel that she's making a big mistake. I just wish there was something I could do to stop her from going through with this.
Now you know better than to try to stop her. She'll only resent you for it. And then there's no telling what might happen.
Oh, surely she must see that she and Leigh are in no position to get married. Neither of them can even support themselves, much less both of them together.
Well, now, when are they getting married?
Next June.
Next June? Well, if I were you, honey, I wouldn't do a thing.
Dad, I cannot just stand by and watch my daughter make the biggest mistake in her life. I don't think I could ever forgive myself if I didn't try to stop her.
No, I wouldn't do a thing. June is a long way off, and a lot can happen between now and then. A lot can happen.
Mr. Hobson, I have a message for you. Mr. Black will be calling you shortly.
Well, thanks, Quinn. I was hoping you wouldn't call this soon. I still haven't been able to buy out Mitch Blake's interest in that property yet. Everyone else has come around, but Blake still isn't sure yet.
I'm sure you and Mr. Blake will come to terms shortly.
I wish I could be that optimistic.
I do hope you can convince Blake to sell. Mr. Black really wants that property.
Well, he isn't upset with me because I haven't finalized the deal yet, is he?
Oh, no, quite the contrary. He's very pleased with your work.
I haven't done anything yet.
No, that's not at all true. You've been a big help to the Black Hawk Project, and we're all very pleased with you.
Well, thank you, but, Hello? Oh, yes, Mr. Black. Well, fine, thank you. How about yourself? Oh, that's good, that's good. No problems at all. Yes, I've talked with him. No, not yet. Yes, I understand that, sir. I plan to talk with him later today. Yes, sir, I understand the urgency. Oh, I'll do my best, sir. Yes, we were just talking when you called. Okay, sir. Yes, thank you again. Fine.
Goodbye, Mr. Black.
So, how did it go?
You were right. Black really wants that property.
It's Mr. Black. Well, you're just going to have to find some way to convince Mitch Blake.
Guess I better get over there right now.
Mitch Blake is not available at the moment.
Not available?
That's correct.
How do you know that?
Let's just say I'm very good at my job.
Okay, whatever you say.
And there's another good reason you can't go now. I understand you haven't seen your new apartment yet.
That's right.
Well, it's about time you did. It's in the Bayview Towers. I could go with you if you like.
Well, is this Mr. Black's idea, too?
Of course.
Quinn, when am I going to be able to meet Mr. Black?
I can't really say for sure. I still haven't met him myself.
But doesn't that bother you? I mean, working for someone this long and never meeting him?
I'm sure we'll all get to meet Mr. Black when he thinks it's appropriate.
Sorry to be late.
No, it's not a problem. Have a seat, Mitch. Do you want some coffee?
I don't think so. Been involved in this custody hearing for Amanda. You know Matt Corey. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Look, Mitch, I really don't want to get in the middle of this.
I understand that. But how far do you think he'll push your custody trial?
I don't know. But I do think he's prepared to go all the way with it.
All right, thank you.
No, Mitch, I'm sorry, okay? That's just the way I see it.
I appreciate it.
Look, let me ask you a question. Is it true that you're back at the Connection?
Yeah. Now, what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. You tell me.
I'm working there and picking up extra cash until the gallery gets moving.
Yes, but while you're there, you haven't noticed any signs or anything that the company is involved in?
No. I've seen... But I wouldn't see anything.
Yeah, but what I've heard is that they've bought part interest into it. And I was just wondering, what are they doing with their investment?
I don't know, but from what I understand, they might have had an interest, but no more.
Are you sure of that?
Well, Jason told me that he bought his interest back, and he controls it.
He told you that? That's a fact?
That's what he told me.
Yes, I know. That's exactly what he said at court, too.
So what brings you over here on your day off?
Oh, thanks, honey.
Sure.
Well, we never get a chance to talk at the shop. I think we have something to talk about.
I hope I didn't do anything wrong.
Don't be dumb. You're the best.
Well, then what is it?
It's Leigh. I'm worried about him. I don't know. I think he's rushing into this thing too fast.
Rushing into what, Ada?
Don't you know?
How can I know if I don't know what you're talking
He's
about?
getting married.
Married?
He and Sally Frame are planning to get married. He came by my house the other day and told me about it.
Well, he didn't tell me. I haven't seen him for a couple of days, though.
Yeah, well, I guess they decided to do it in kind of a hurry.
Well, I know that he and Sally were getting serious, but I didn't know they were planning on getting married.
Well, they are. I wish they could see that getting that serious and married are two different things.
I suppose if that's what they want to do, then there's probably nothing we can do about it.
Well, but they haven't known each other very long.
You're right, Ada. What can we do?
I think we ought to try to talk some sense into Leigh.
You know, but on the other hand, if he's made up his mind and if marrying Sally is what he wants to do, maybe we shouldn't do anything at all.
Well, that's my point.
What's your point?
I'm not so sure it's what he really wants to do.
Well, why are you saying that, Ada? I mean, what did he say to you?
It isn't what he said, it's how he said it.
Well, I don't understand.
It's just a feeling I've got.
Well, what kind of feeling?
Well, it looks like Leigh is trying to convince himself that he's doing the right thing.
Zachary Colton to the stand, please. Raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name and occupation.
Zachary Colton, Bay City District Attorney.
Please be seated.
Sandy, I really appreciate you coming back here with me like this.
Oh, it's no problem. You still upset?
I think I'll always be upset until this nightmare is over.
Yeah, well. You know, at least you got to see Jamie. Listen, tell me, how's he doing?
It seems to me that he's not making any progress at all. I don't know if anything happens to him. I just don't know what I'll do.
Why, what'd the doctor say?
Sometimes. Dr. Matthews, I don't think he knows what he's talking about. I went in there for a consultation, and he ended up frightening me.
Why, what'd he tell you?
Well, I told him how strange Jamie's been acting lately, and the thing about the calendar, and the time that he says that he called me to give Mac a message, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And then about him telling me that he didn't want any visitors in the hospital, and then just turning right around and saying that I made it up. And about the pills, and him hitting me and forcing me to make love with him.
Wait a minute. You told all this to Russ Matthews?
Yes. And he looked at me. And he said...
What? What did he say?
He said that Jamie might be in more trouble than just with those pills.
More trouble like what?
Oh, Sandy. Dr. Matthews thinks that Jamie might be in a state of total nervous collapse.
What'll I do when you are far away and I am blue? What'll I do when you forget me?
Anybody home?
Denny, where'd you come from?
Oh, well, Wisconsin, actually, but most recently from my new apartment.
Your new apartment?
That's right. Mr. Black has rented me an apartment at the Bayview Towers, and he insisted that I take the afternoon off to check it out.
You're moving to the Bayview Towers?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds kind of ritzy to me.
Oh, yeah, it is. You ought to see it. But I do think it's a little strange to be given the afternoon off to look at a new apartment.
Oh, I hope you're not complaining. Your boss sounds real nice to me.
Oh, yeah, sounds is right. All I've ever gotten to meet so far is his voice.
Yeah, well, that's kind of strange, but if you like the work.
What work? They haven't given me anything to do yet except to try and buy a building.
Well, they hired you for a reason. They'll probably give you more responsibility when you get settled.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Denny, I want to know, what does this Black Hawk Company do?
Well, it's not the Black Hawk Company. It's the Black Hawk Project. And I don't know exactly what they do. I talked to Larry the other day. He's going to try and find out for me.
Oh, that's good. Now, look don't eat too much. We're going to eat supper in just a minute. I swear, you and Leigh are two of a kind.
Yeah, well, at least in some ways.
Have you talked to Leigh lately?
No, why? Something wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. But Ada stopped by earlier, and she said that Leigh's getting married.
Married? Oh, why would we want to do a crazy thing like that?
Well, Sally and he are really serious about each other.
Serious? And what do two kids know about being serious?
Look, now, don't jump on him, okay? I mean, we haven't even asked him about this.
I think the time for asking is through. It's time to start telling him a few things.
Denny, now, don't get too involved.
Clarice, he's my brother, too. I've been responsible for him for quite a few years. I'd say I have a right to be involved.
Well, he's my brother, too, and I want to see the two of you get along.
Well, I'm going to go talk to him. I hope it's just not too late to keep me from making the same mistake I did.
Denny, would you wait?
Mr. Colton, have you ever gambled at the arena?
Yes. But it is perfectly legal to do so. My purpose in being there was to keep an eye on George Scott and his operations.
I see. And at the time of his death, did you owe Jordan Scott any money for any debts incurred while gambling at the arena?
No, I did not. I presume that you were basing your question on the allegations which appeared in the Ledger in an editorial written by Mr. James Frame.
Perhaps.
Yes, well, may I just point out to the court that the editorial was false, that it was retracted by the newspaper, that Mr. Frame was fired as a result of the incident, and that an apology was issued to me.
Very well, Mr. Coleman. The court has heard you.
He said Jamie had a nervous collapse?
Russ thinks that Jamie may have gone over the edge. I'm so frightened.
Well, did Dr. Matthews say what kind of treatment might be necessary?
No. They're just going to continue to try to clean the drugs out of his system, and after that, they'll just decide what's best for him. Sandy, I don't want Jamie to be institutionalized. I don't want him to come home like this.
Have you told anyone else about this, Cecile?
No. Just Dr. Matthews and now you.
Well, what can I do to help?
I wish I knew. I want to help him so desperately. I just can't stand sitting by and watching him fall apart like this.
You know, Cecile, once Jamie gets the drugs out of his system, he'll probably be back to his old self again.
I used to think the same thing, too. But then he'd just get hooked on drugs again. And he'd start acting so irrationally that I would find myself in constant fear of him. Sandy, I just can't go through with that again.
Cecile, if Jamie really did harm you, then...
No. No. I want my marriage to work. I want to stand by Jamie all the way.
Yeah, but if you're honestly afraid for your own safety...
No, it's okay.
Cecile...
I'll be okay. Look, we managed to get through that thing with Mary Ann and her pregnancy without our marriage collapsing. And these other things, they're just because of Jamie's drug problem. So if I can give him all the support that I can and we can help him, maybe.
Well, I'll be there to help you, too.
Thank you, Sandy.
Sure, listen. Everything's going to be all right, you know?
I can't tell you how much that means to me.
Listen, maybe you better go upstairs and get some rest now. Okay?
Yes. Thank you again.
Hey. Hey, what are you doing? This is my house.
Sit down, Lee.
Oh, what's up, Denny?
I said sit down. We have to talk.
Hey, I'm not sitting anywhere until you tell me why you come barging into my house, ordering me around.
Yeah, well, I just heard about your wedding plans, and I don't like what I heard one bit.
Oh, that's too bad. I really don't care. It's none of your damn business.
Oh, yeah? Well, just how do you think you're going to manage to support a wife? I mean, didn't all those years you spent with Suzanne and me teach you anything?
Yeah. It taught me how to treat other people.
I mean, did it teach you anything about not rushing into a marriage when you're not prepared to?
I'm prepared.
Oh, yeah. You got a great career ahead of you as an errand boy for Corey Publishing. That's really going to help you support a wife.
Oh, come on, Denny. Sally plans to continue working, too. We'll be able to get along just fine.
What about your hockey career? And Sally's education?
We'll still have those things. We'll manage all right?
Lee, is that what you want to do? Just manage? Have you thought this thing through?
Yes, I thought this thing through. It's what I want. It's what we both want.
They wake up and face a few facts. If you go through with this marriage, your hockey career will be over. And if both of you expect to work to make a living, then Sally's education is going to have to wait. Then one day you'll find out that time has passed you by. And you realize you made the biggest mistake of your life by not waiting till you're ready to be married.
Denny.
Wait, I'm not finished. You're both going to find out you're going to be bitter and frustrated and end up just like Suzanne and me, another statistic.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Well, Sally and I have both thought this thing through. And I've seen enough of your bad marriage not to make the same mistakes that you made.
You just won't listen, will you?
No. And I've listened to you all I'm going to listen to you.
Leigh, please try to think about what I've been saying. It's for your own good.
Oh, that's it. That's all I wanted to hear. Everybody's telling me what's for my own good. Well, this time, buddy, I'm deciding what's for my own good. So you can just get the hell out of my house.
Leigh, when are you going to understand that I really love you? And I only have your best interest at heart?
Now, Mr. Colton, will you please tell the court if you are under any medical treatment at this time?
What? I object to this line of questioning, Your Honor. This has no bearing on the case.
Bancroft?
Your Honor, if you will please let me proceed with this, I assure you the relevance will be shown. And it is necessary for me to lay the groundwork in order to tie these questions to this case.
Very well. With your assurance that this matter is related to this case, I shall let you proceed. But if I feel you're getting out of line, I will sustain the objection. For now, the objection is overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Mr. Colton, please answer the question.
Yes, I am under medical treatment at the moment.
Please, tell us for what reason.
I am being treated for high blood pressure and some indication of atherosclerosis.
I see. Now, what exactly does your treatment entail?
Well, mostly to watch my diet and exercise.
Now, Mr. Colton, are you taking any medication for your condition?
Yes.
What is the medication you're taking?
Heparin sodium.
Order.
Heparin sodium. Now, are you taking this medication by tablet form or by injection?
By injection. But a lot of people take it that way.
I see.
What was that all about?
Oh, it's more of the same from my brother, Protector. He doesn't think we're old enough to decide whether we should get married or not.
I should fix him up with my mother, the teen they'd make.
Has your mom been hassling you too?
Yeah, she came down on me real hard today.
Suppose she hates me.
No, she doesn't hate you at all. She just doesn't think we're old enough to get married.
Denny doesn't think I can support anybody with my job.
How are we going to convince people that we know what we're doing?
I'm sorry we told anybody about our plans.
Yeah, me too. She just doesn't want me to ever get married.
Denny tried to tell me I'd be making the biggest mistake of my life.
Oh, great.
It's nothing personal. He just wanted me to learn from his example. He figured I should have seen the problems that he had with Suzanne, and I'd be crazy to try anything like it.
Why is everybody against us? Do you know, the only person that didn't give me a hard time about this was Linda at the hospital.
When you made out better than I did, everyone I told tried to talk me out of it. Ada, Joey, now Denny. I don't know how he even found out about it.
Maybe Clarice told him.
No, I haven't told her yet. Although if Denny knows, I'm sure Clarice does too.
Do you want to back out?
Do you?
I asked you first.
No.
Neither do I.
I like the idea of getting married.
Me too.
We don't need anyone else to say it's okay.
You're right. I mean, after all, it's our life and we have to make our own decisions, right?
Still.
It would be nice if somebody was on our side.
Yeah?
You know, I bet my grandfather would agree with us.
Well, there's one vote for our side.
No, 2, counting Linda. I'm willing to go through with it.
So am I.
Then it's settled. Do you know it's kind of romantic?
What?
You and me against the world.
Oh, Sally.
And with our love, we can survive it all.
Mr. Colton, you stated at the time of his death you owed Jordan Scott no money.
Yes, that's correct.
Did you perhaps then owe him any favors?
I don't know what you're getting at.
What I mean to say is, did Jordan Scott ever do anything for you that might be construed as a favor?
Certainly not.
Your Honor, I object to this line of questioning. The defense counsel is trying to make a connection that does not exist.
Your Honor, all I'm trying to do is get factual information about this case, and I assure you these questions are germane to the case.
Objection overruled. But I must caution you again, Mr. Bancroft, to limit your interrogation to the facts in this case. You cannot go delving into personal areas not related to the matter before this court.
I understand, Your Honor, and I will abide by your request. Now, Mr. Colton, what you're really saying, in effect, is that you owed Jordan Scott no money.
That's exactly what I'm saying, yes.
Now, Mr. Colton, where were you exactly at the time that Jordan Scott was murdered?
I was in my office working late.
Oh, I see. Well, then how did you find out about the shooting?
I received an anonymous phone call informing me of the killing.
What did you do then?
I telephoned the police immediately, and then I proceeded to the Scott residence in order to investigate the crime.
And who arrived first?
The police were already there when I arrived.
I see. So you arrived after the police had begun their investigation?
Yes, Mr. Bancroft, that is correct.
Well, I didn't expect to find you here at this time.
Oh, I brought Cecile home from work. She was pretty upset after her visit with Jamie.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Where is she now?
She's upstairs. She went to get some rest.
I'm glad. She's really had to bear the brunt of this situation.
Yeah, I don't think she's holding up too well.
I'm sure she'll be all right. And now, I think it's safe to say the same about Jamie.
Did you get to see him?
Yeah, had a little visit with him. He's much better. Doctors say he's making good progress.
Oh, yeah? Which doctor did you speak with?
Well, actually, I spoke to Alice Frame. She relayed Russ's prognosis to me.
And Russ said he's looking good?
Yeah. Why? Sounds as if you don't believe it.
Well, Mac, Cecile talked to Russ Matthews herself, and apparently there's some fear that Jamie may be in more trouble than just drugs.
Trouble? What kind of trouble?
Mac, I don't want to alarm you, but Cecile is afraid that Jamie may have had some kind of mental breakdown.
Oh, yeah, Jamie mentioned something about that to me himself, but it appears the hospital staff doesn't think so. Would you join me in a little drink?
No, nothing for me, thanks. You know, Mac, you didn't talk to Russ Matthews yourself, and Alice Frame is a friend of yours, so...
Yeah, but I don't think Alice would withhold any information about Jamie to me. Well, tell me, exactly what did Cecile say that Russ told her?
Only that he was worried that there might have been some kind of mental collapse. You know, Cecile is just so worried about Jamie. I think this all goes back to his erratic behavior the past few weeks.
Yeah, I guess. Maybe I should have a talk with Cecile. Perhaps I could ease her mind. You know, she's been under so much stress. She may have just misinterpreted what Russ told her.
Yeah, maybe.
I can see you're still very concerned. Anything I can do to help you?
Well, Mac, you know, it's just that I like Jamie a lot as a friend, and now as a brother. I just want to be able to do something to help him and help Cecile get through all this.
I know how you feel. The last thing in the world I want for Jamie right now is to have his marriage fall to pieces.
Your Honor, I have no further questions of this witness at this time.
Very well, Mr. Bancroft. Mr. Colton, would you like to have your co-counsel cross-examined?
No, that won't be necessary, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Bancroft.
I would like to reserve the right to recall this witness at another time.
So noted. Mr. Colton, you may step down. This court will stand recessed until 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Join us each weekday at this time for the continuing story of Another World.